All right, I want to talk about Jordan Greenway for a bit. His current cap hit is 2.1 million. It expires the end of this season. And then in middle of the season, he signed a contract extension. So effective the beginning of next season, he makes 3 million a year against the cap for 3 years, a 3x3. So let's dive into it. Jordan Greenway, 6'6", right winger, 227 pounds, 25 years old. So he's still young. Played some college hockey in Hockey East. He was great there. So let's look into the stats and then kind of figure out what's going on here. So 2017-2018, his rookie year, he played 6 games, had 1 assist, plus minus was a 0. He had 5 hits. Not bad. It was a good experience for him. Next season, 2019 or 2018-2019, he played a full season, 81 games. He had 12 goals, 12 assists for 24 points. He was a minus 12 with 57 hits. He had a pretty good season. It was encouraging. It was nice to see that from really his first full season. He was pretty productive, kind of playing in a fourth line, third line role. So he got moved up to the third line pretty early in the season, but kind of played on the third line from there. 2020 season ending, played 67 games, 8 goals, 20 assists for 28 points. He was a +2. He had 95 hits that season. 2021, so last season, 56 games, 6 goals, 26 assists, 32 points. He's a +5 with 87 hits. So, his goals are decreasing, his assists are increasing, his point production is increasing. Probably not at the rate you like, but nonetheless, it's still increasing and he's still young. This season, 41 games, 4 goals, 10 assists for 14 points, but he's a +14 and he has 107 hits so far. So trends. This is clearly a down year offensively. If all plays as well as it has, if he kind of continues on this pace, he'll end up with 8 goals, 20 assists, maybe 1 less because the Wild had played well more than 41 games, and plus high 20s, mid to high 20s, and he could hit 200 hits this season. So notable, hits consistently increase every year. It goes from 95 to 87, but if you look at the games played, his hits per game has increased every season he's played. His plus minus 6 games, 0-0, but you're minus 12 to a +2 to a +5 to a +14 in less games. That's highly encouraging. So he's having a down year. The Wild signed him to an extension mid-season. I don't remember what the timetable was. It was like 25 or 30 games in, and he had a rough beginning. He was having a rough beginning. But Wild decided to give him a pay raise. So why? Well, one little thing is he really doesn't play on the power play. He's had a few small opportunities, but it's when the team wasn't healthy and it really didn't last long. It'd be more to change up power play units because they would struggle sometimes. The Wild power play is, under Dean Evison, notoriously is very streaky. It's really either really hot or really cold. So he might find some power play time there. He plays some shorthanded time, but it's tough because the Wild have good defensive forwards. And Jordan Greenway is no exception. He's an excellent two-way forward. At this point, this season in particular, he's fantastic defensively. But he also plays on a line with Eriksson Ek and Marcus Foligno, who both have gotten Selke votes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jordan Greenway get Selke votes. I think he should be in that conversation. I don't think he'll win it or maybe be a top 10 candidate. But nonetheless, I would expect and I hope he gets some votes. He's really, really elevated his defensive game every single year. And his defensive game this season is excellent. It's notable in the plus-minus and the hits category. He knows he's not producing, but he wants to contribute to the Wild, to the team. And Marcus Foligno has kind of been a bit of a leader on that line, a little more experience. He says every shift you got to go out and you got to do something right. You got to do something to help the team. Might not be scoring a goal, might maybe you get an assist, maybe you hit somebody, and that really kind of sticks out when a player says that. Like, you make every shift count, even if you're not showing up on the scoreboard. You make every shift count. So, I think Greenway's kind of taken that to heart. When he's not scoring, games he's not scoring or producing offensively, or producing really much in the offensive zone, he's hitting, he's defending well, he's making smart passes. He's not making silly passes to hopefully get an assist that is highly unlikely but could be a nice play. He's making smart passes, smart plays. He's a very, very intelligent player. Plays a physical game. He's finally living up to his 6'6", 227-pound body. Man, he is a beast. But it's really the defensive game, his mindset, and just he's just a great guy overall. He's great for that locker room. He just fits so well on that Eriksson Ek and Foligno line. Whether he's offensively producing or not, it's like I said in prior videos, it's Dean Evanson's go-to line. If they need a momentum shift in the game, he will put that line on the ice. They can score, and they can score gritty goals. They can defend. It's one of the best defending, might be the best defending line in all of the NHL. I'd make a good argument for that. They can kind of do a little bit of everything. They got the big bodies. They can smash. They can hit. They can grind. But they play smart. They're a smart group. And Foligno, he's probably the best known league wide. Eriksson Ek was a 2015 first round draft pick, so he's got some hype behind him. Greenway is a little less known, but I think deserves just as much recognition. And honestly, I think he's getting a little bit of that with his contract extension. But the thing is, I don't think he's overpaid at all. I think that's pretty much about where he should be, because he contributes a lot more than just offensive production to this team. It's nice when the offensive production's there, but that's not what you're relying on him for. That's not what you're counting on him for. It's great when it shows up, but he does everything else right in the game to really justify the $3 million cap hit for the next 3 years. So when the contract's over, he'll be 28. Be a good time to kind of reevaluate, see where he is at that point in his career. That's usually where a lot of players hit their peak production. What will we see from Jordan Greenway then? Will we see his offensive stats increase? What will the Minnesota Wild as a team look like? Because they're going to lose $10 million of cap space over the next 2 seasons. They lose $8 million next year, and then an additional $2 million the year after. So what's that going to look like? Is that going to affect offensive stats for Jordan Greenway? Is that going to affect his defensive stats a little bit? What's going to come of this? I think it's a smart move for the Wild. I think he contributes a lot. It's a great contract for the Wild. It's a great contract for Jordan Greenway. Because if you're just looking at his stats, you're like, oh, he's like a second or third line winger. He's like a fourth or a third line winger, not a second line, just stats wise. But if you actually see him play and kind of observe all the things he does, he plays a lot better than his stats would show. He's vital to this team. So I think 3 years is a good time to reevaluate, kind of see where the player's at, see where the team's at, and go from there. Jordan Greenway will not be a restricted free agent. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. So he doesn't like the direction that the Wild are going. If his line gets broken up, Foligno retires or leaves, and Eriksson Ek, plays with like a different line or something. Jordan Greenway is not producing at all offensively. He becomes a fourth liner. Does he sign a contract elsewhere to try to get his, a change of scenery, bump up his stats? So we'll see. I like the deal at the time. I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time. I love Jordan Greenway. He's a great player. He's really fun to watch. I highly recommend, if you catch a Wild game, just take note of when Jordan Greenway is on the rink. Follow him around with your eyes. He's a lot of fun, and he's a really, really hard worker and a good player. So, like I said, I wanted to do this for a while and kind of give Jordan Greenway a shout out. He's one of my favorite Wild players. So that's it for that. Let me know what you guys think. You guys, Wild fans, you watch Jordan Greenway. Who's your favorite Wild player? Who's your favorite player in general? whatever, let me know. Be cool to talk about it. But yeah, there you go. Jordan Greenway, my 6'6" beast. I think he went to BU, so spent some time in Massachusetts. All right, that's all for this. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the support.